Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, folks, depending on where you are. You are watching Powering Purpose Modern Volunteer Management on Salesforce. I am Amy Gilstein, Field Marketing Manager here at Cloud for Good. During our time together today, your lines are muted, but we will encourage you to ask questions via the Q&A. Depending on time, we will answer them live on the call, or we will certainly, I promise you, follow up with you after the webinar if you ask non-anonymously. This webinar will be recorded and shared via email and on our YouTube page. I do see some new faces on the call. So first of all, hello and welcome to our newbies. Kelly, if you don't mind going to the next
Yeah.
slide. Let me do a quick intro about Cloud for Good for those new folks. Let's talk about what truly sets us apart as the Salesforce leader in the impact sector. First of all, experience matters. Cloud for Good is trusted by 25% of the top 100 largest nonprofits. Our depth of experience means we understand the complexities and opportunities unique to mission-driven organizations. That trust is reflected in our results. We have a 4.9 star rating on the Salesforce App Exchange, one of the highest among Salesforce implementation partners. Our clients don't just complete projects, they grow long-term relationships with us because we deliver lasting value. Our team brings deep Salesforce expertise across nonprofit and education solutions. From fundraising and student success to marketing automation and AI, we build systems that align with your goals, not just your data model. We are also more than implementers, we are advocates. Our deep Salesforce partnership allows us to represent the voice of our clients within Salesforce itself. That means your needs and use cases help shape the future of the platform. And finally, we're innovators. Cloud for Good has developed proprietary accelerators and assets that help our clients reduce risk, speed up implementation, and scale their technology faster. With that, I'd like to introduce today's expert, Kelly Carton, a solution engineer here at Cloud for Good, and I will let Kelly take it away and introduce herself. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly.
Great. Thank you, Amy. And hi, everyone. My name is Kelly Carton, and I'm a solution engineer at Cloud for Good. I spent the first 10 years of my career in the nonprofit sector using Salesforce the entire time. And today I'm especially excited for this webinar because I started my career in volunteerism. I managed corporate volunteer programs at New York Cares, which is New York City's largest volunteer organization. After New York Cares, I earned my master's degree in nonprofit management at Columbia University, and then I joined the Rainforest Alliance, where I had the chance to work on the client side of a Salesforce implementation that was led by Cloud for Good. Today, we're going to spend the bulk of our time in a live demo of volunteer management, but I want to start with a few slides to ground everyone in what volunteer management is designed to do. And please feel free to submit questions along the way, and we will get to those at the end. Volunteer management launched in the summer of 2025 and has already seen new functionality released. It was designed to be a full service solution that supports the entire volunteer lifecycle, from strategy and planning to recruitment and onboarding to scheduling and execution, reporting, and long-term engagement with volunteers. We'll walk through that full life cycle together in just a few minutes. Today, we'll focus on the CFG Foundation, which is a large fictional nonprofit based in New York City. Their mission centers on environmental stewardship and promoting volunteerism. This small but mighty volunteer team coordinates more than 10,000 volunteer hours every year, with a primary focus on supporting New York City parks. Before moving to Agentforce Nonprofit, which is formerly known as Nonprofit Cloud, the team relied on spreadsheets and other disconnected tools to manage their volunteerism, which made it difficult for the team to retain volunteers, scale programs, and and fully understand their impact. We will start with an Experience Cloud portal, which enables personalized self-service volunteer journeys that make it easy for individuals to discover volunteer opportunities, register, and stay engaged. Next, we'll look at volunteer management, including automation that reduces manual effort for staff while providing real-time visibility into volunteer activity and impact. And finally, we'll wrap with a single, unified view of volunteers, who are often also donors, bringing together volunteering, fundraising, and engagement so teams can build deeper, more meaningful relationships. With that, let's get into the demo. I'm just gonna switch my screens quickly. Great. So now that we've talked about the full volunteer life cycle at a high level, let's see what that actually looks like in practice, starting with the volunteer's perspective. CFG Foundation wanted to make it easy for New Yorkers to find and register for volunteer projects, so they designed an Experience Cloud portal, which you can think of as a two-way window into Salesforce data. This portal supports the full volunteer lifecycle, from from sharing project details and shift availability to collecting volunteer registration data and even sending branded confirmation and follow-up emails. Nonprofits have a lot of flexibility with Experience Cloud. They can create a fully branded portal using a drag and drop interface with no coding experience required. Pages like this can be made public or require a login. And nonprofits can also give volunteers the ability to log in and make changes to their volunteer registrations. Today, we're following an environmental nonprofit, but this is applicable to any nonprofit mission, whether you focus on wildlife or food scarcity or job assistance. So let's follow along one longtime volunteer, Katie Monroe, as she signs up for an upcoming project. She can review the available volunteer opportunities and then quickly move from education to registering for the shift that works best for her. We'll click sign up now, and Katie can see all of the shifts available with all of the necessary information. She can even see the number of remaining spots, which is updated in real time by Salesforce. This is especially important for group volunteering, which volunteer management can also accommodate. I recently planned a volunteer project in Denver for some local Cloud for Good colleagues, and being able to see the number of spots left was really helpful in being able to quickly select the shift that worked best for our team and could accommodate our whole group. And I should mention that nonprofit used Salesforce volunteer management. In this case, it's just Katie, and she wants to volunteer on Earth Day, so we'll select that shift. Volunteer management includes the ability to add requirements or qualifications to each volunteer role, which makes sure that nonprofits can recruit the right volunteers for the right roles. In this case, this role requires the ability to lift 20 pounds, which Katie can do, so she'll select that option. Then this skill will be added to Katie's account so that the team can reference this in the future, and I'll show you what that looks like on the back end. This functionality is really flexible for any mission, and it can especially come in handy for nonprofits that rely on skilled volunteers or volunteers with a specialized skill. So, for example, maybe your nonprofit relies on pro bono attorneys for legal assistance, or accountants for tax prep, or even doctors to provide medical care. Volunteer management can accommodate all of that, all of those qualifications out of the box and much more, and we'll show you what that looks like towards the end of the webinar. So we'll enter some information here about Katie. Nonprofits can really expose any number of fields here, both standard and custom, and we have the ability to mark fields as optional or required. So we'll enter Katie's info here. By requiring the birth date, we can make sure that volunteers meet a minimum age requirement. We can also have Salesforce look first to see if there's a volunteer that matches this email address, name, and birth date. If so, add that registration to their existing account, or if not, create a new account. And that can go a long way towards preventing duplicates, which I know a lot of nonprofits struggle with. We can also leverage Google address validation to make sure that we're getting quality data from the start. We'll hit register. And just a note, there's a few options for group volunteering. We can give group volunteers the ability to list each team member individually along with their email address, which will send each person their own confirmation email, or we can simply have that group leader serve as the point contact and forward out that email as needed. So lots of flexibility there. So now we are on a confirmation page, and Katie will receive a confirmation email in just a moment. And we also have the ability to send automated reminder emails in the days or weeks leading up to the event. Portals like these not only create a really streamlined, user-friendly experience for volunteers, it also enables nonprofits to manage the entire volunteer recruitment process at scale. From my own experience volunteering with that nonprofit that uses volunteer management, the portal really connected the entire experience. We used the portal to register our group, and then on the day of the event, we checked in on an iPad, which not only updated our attendance in Salesforce, it also logged volunteer hours on each of our accounts, as well as our exact start and end time. And afterward, we received a thank you email along with a list of ways to stay engaged with that nonprofit. And that functionality enables that small team to manage thousands of volunteers a year. Now let's shift gears and look at the staff experience because I know that every great volunteer experience depends on strong coordination behind the scenes. The volunteer coordinator will spend the majority of her time in the volunteer management app in Salesforce because it has all of the tools that she needs to do her job in one place. She has volunteer metrics at the top, which is going to allow her to track her team's performance in real time to make sure they're on target to meet their goals. These metrics can also be leveraged for things like the CFG Foundation annual report, volunteer reports, grant reports, and much more. And then she can see some core volunteer information, which should look familiar because it's the same data that we exposed on the volunteer portal. That makes sure that volunteers have the most up-to-date information and that everyone is working from a single source of truth. If I hit refresh, we should see, yes, we can see Katie's registration right here. So gone are the days of wading through and scanning paper sign-in sheets or uploading spreadsheets with registration data. We have this information immediately. The coordinator can also see her volunteer initiatives, which you can think of as a way to organize, plan, and strategize volunteer programs. Upcoming shifts represent specific volunteer events, and we have the ability to create these individually or in bulk, which is a feature we'll look at later. And then registrations are called job position assignments in Salesforce, and it's a way to connect a person, a shift, and a role. So we can see Katie's registration right here for the April 22nd shift. Today, the volunteer coordinator wants to ramp up winter volunteering in Central Park since temperatures are starting to rise and the park's going to get more crowded. So she wants to make sure it's in tip-top shape. So let's go there next. Volunteer initiatives act as a central hub for planning, strategy, organizing roles and capacity planning. And we can organize initiatives through parent-child records. For example, this is part of the larger environmental program pillar. Volunteer management also includes some powerful out-of-the-box automation, which allows nonprofits that manage hundreds or even thousands of volunteers every year at scale. Let's start with the Find Volunteers button. We saw that qualification on the portal to be able to lift 20 pounds. And like I mentioned, that will be added to Katie's record. Staff also have the ability to manually log those qualifications or skills on an account, oh, excuse me, on a person's account so that as they learn more about that person, and then that can be leveraged by tools like this matching tool. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing in detail just in the interest of time, but it allows volunteer coordinators to match volunteers to initiatives or roles based on qualifications, availability, and or location. This can be another powerful feature for nonprofits that use skilled volunteers. Just as an example, a legal aid nonprofit could look for somebody with a JD degree or who is a lawyer who's available on Tuesdays in Queens, just as a quick example. And we'll dive deeper into this in a future webinar, but I did just want to show you that this is possible. Going back to our initiative, we also have this assign volunteers function, which allows us to assign volunteers to roles and shifts in bulk. So all we need to do is select the role. We'll set the status to upcoming. Notice we have the ability to select one or more shifts here. Speaking from experience, I know that typically there's a group of regular volunteers who go to projects week after week. So this is a great way to assign them to upcoming shifts in bulk. In this case, the volunteer coordinator wants to add a husband and wife who are interested in the May 1st event. So we'll select that shift. We will enter their name and notice that you can select one or more volunteers here. We'll hit save, and now they have been added to those shifts. And okay, so we've seen how Salesforce supports strategic volunteer matching and assignment. Next, the coordinator wants to add some more shifts to the schedule, so let's navigate to the general park revitalization role. Like we saw on the portal earlier, volunteer coordinators have the ability to add requirements or qualifications to a role, and this is the same one that we saw on the portal earlier. That's going to make sure that we're setting clear expectations for volunteers from the start. And the coordinator can use that same matching and assignment functionality for specific volunteer roles. Right now, she wants to add some additional shifts to the schedule, so let's do that. By default, we're going to see the option to add one shift. I'm going to choose to create a recurring schedule instead. So the volunteer wants to add some more shifts to Central Park. We will enter the start and end date for that first shift, and we'll set the time. I will select the time zone. And here we go. And we have a lot of options with the recurrent schedule, anywhere from weekly to annually, which can really come in handy for things like annual Earth Day cleanup, like CFG Foundation offers, or an annual Thanksgiving meal service. Oh, excuse me, weekly, there we go. We will set the maximum attendee count, and this is what Salesforce uses to calculate the remaining number of spots left as new registrations come into the database. And we'll set the status as upcoming. Since the park is more crowded on weekends, we're going to select Thursdays and Fridays. And then for now, the coordinator wants to add shifts for this month only and then reassess at the end of the month to see the workload and the amount of volunteer power needed. And we will hit save. And now those shifts have been created. If we were to go back to the portal, we would already see these shifts live, which means that volunteers can start registering immediately. The ability to quickly plan and publish volunteer events is especially valuable for nonprofits focused on disaster response and recovery, where timing is critical. Or, let's say a food kitchen gets a huge donation of food that they need to give out before it expires. There's a lot of scenarios that require a nonprofit to act quickly, and volunteer management allows you to do just that. We can see here the remaining capacity being updated in real time based on the maximum number of attendees and the number of people registered. I know from experience that mobilizing volunteers can be really time consuming, but volunteer management helps nonprofits streamline the entire process from planning and registration through execution and follow up. To bring things full circle, let's return to Katie Monroe, who's the volunteer that we looked at the beginning of the webinar. We'll go to the April 22nd shift. Here's her registration, and then we'll go to her account record. I think this is where Agentforce nonprofit really shines. Volunteer coordinators can, excuse me, volunteer coordinators and fundraisers can work together to collaborate to engage constituents like Katie in more meaningful ways. Here we can see Katie's interests, automated volunteer metrics, her engagement over time with different volunteer projects, as well as a timeline of all of her interactions across CFG Foundation. In orange, we have her different volunteer commitments. We have gifts that she's made, as well as commitments for future gifts, and even cases that she's submitted for support. And notice that we can see all of this on a single screen, which allows volunteer coordinators and fundraisers to quickly leverage the most important information about a constituent. Here is that competency or skill that we saw in the portal that was automatically added to Katie's account right here. And that can be leveraged by that volunteer matching tool that we saw, as well as her location preferences. So whether it's a physical requirement, like the ability to lift a certain amount of weight, or a degree or another skill, there's functionality to track all of that and more. And we will take a deeper dive into that in a future webinar. This single unified view allows teams to move beyond managing volunteers to truly stewarding relationships across volunteering and fundraising. That concludes our demo. I'm going to take us back to the slides. So bear with me. Okay, here we go. Salesforce volunteer management really brings the entire volunteer lifecycle, like you saw, into one unified platform. From strategy and planning to recruitment and registration to on-site support and even long-term engagement, Salesforce has functionality along the way to support nonprofits at every step. By combining self-service volunteer experiences with powerful staff automation, nonprofits can scale their programs without scaling administrative work. And by unifying volunteer and donor data, teams can build deeper, more meaningful relationships with the constituents who matter most. Thank you for following along, and I am excited to hear your questions.
Thanks, Kelly. We did have a couple of questions come in. I don't know if we have time for more than one or two since we do try to keep these short. But while you're reviewing what came in, I got some jokes for the audience.
Great.
Yeah. So why did the volunteer manager break up with the scheduling software? It said, I can't commit to you. My shifts are all over the place. Oh, this one's interesting
Ba-dum-bum.
because we probably shouldn't, talk about the technology not working, but why was the volunteer management software so bad at baseball? It always dropped the databases. Oh.
Wow. Good one. Thank you, Amy. Okay, perfect. Yeah, there's a couple good ones in here. Thank you. So I'm gonna start with this one. Someone asked about, is there a way to schedule a recurrence for daily? Yes, there is. It might sound a little confusing, but you'd select weekly and then select Monday through Sunday. That's one way to do that. Another good one. How easy is it to set up volunteer management? Volunteer management is can be set up through something called Salesforce Go, which is what the nonprofit team is moving towards. And it's a guided step-by-step setup process. And it'll show you along the way as things were set up, as well as what is still to come. So I'd say very straightforward, and you're going to see more and more of Salesforce Go in Agentforce Nonprofit. I think I just said Nonprofit Cloud a moment ago. So keep a lookout for that. That being said, coming with doing your implementation with a partner with volunteer management is going to give you a chance to reimagine your process. So now's, before you move to Agentforce Nonprofit, that's a great time to reimagine your processes, make sure that things are moving smoothly. And that's the kind of process that we would work with you to do during the discovery process. We would really deeply understand your current state, conduct interviews, and then work together to find the best path forward to make sure that you're using volunteer management in the most efficient and effective way to reach the greatest number of volunteers. Oh, yeah, thank you. This is a good one too. I meant to mention this, but yes, a volunteer consent form can be added to the platform. So when I volunteered with that nonprofit in Denver, there was a chance for me to click on the waiver, review it, and then confirm that I was okay with it. So thank you for that question. I think that's all we have the time for. So
Yeah, I was just
thank
about to
you
say.
all. And if Oh, wait, let me go to the next slide. Yeah, any more questions, please reach out. We are more than happy to help and discuss. Would love to meet any of you and talk more about volunteer management in depth.
Yeah, I saw a couple more questions coming, Kelly. So I will share those questions and contact info with you, and then you'll follow up after the webinar. So you guys still have another minute if you have any more questions to ask for us to follow up afterwards. But there will also be a survey I should add where you can ask even more questions. So before we say goodbye, we are of course leaving you guys with some next steps. On the bottom of your Zoom screen here is a tab aptly named resources. So if reading is more your thing, we have a blog that covers off on volunteer management using Salesforce. We'll be back next week for an hour-long workshop where you can build your own agent. You can register using that link right there. And on February 9th, we will be back with the Aspen Institute talking all about how change management was critical to their Salesforce implementation. Should be another good one too, and you can register there right as well. Once again, all these resources are located in the resources section on your Zoom screen. This webinar will be up within the next few days on our channel, and you'll receive an email from us as well. And if you're watching us there live, or if you're watching us there from the future, I'm happy you found us. If you're watching live, you'll get a survey that pops up immediately after the webinar ends. Please provide feedback. We definitely do read all responses. Thank you again for joining us, and see you at our next webinar in-person event soon. Take care, everybody. Thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Thanks, everyone.